What is good, guys? I want to welcome everybody here to the Cryptoverse DAO. We'll start it off right here. Big shout out to Taurus, Crypto Line, Dharma, the Rasta Shark. We do this stuff on a daily basis, and if you want our latest updates in the Discord, go ahead and click that link down below. I'm about to show you guys a quick emergency update right now, right? If I do cut out on the mic or anything, just let me know so I could fix it, or if you can't hear me well. But right now we're testing this critical support line, right? Obviously over the last couple of days, Bitcoin has it's had a downside. It's had a lot of downside volatility, but not before creating 3 to 4 tops of resistance. As you see, once we fell through this zone, if we just extend the zone, how perfectly it works as support or resistance, right? So that's all trend lines, and that's all zones are meant there to do, right? It's support or resistance. Notice how when we came down to this area, no candle closes below the zone, only a wick, right? If we come here, firm bounce off of it, wick, and then we get the support resistance flip, even though it's a smaller one. We get a support resistance flip line right here. We come into the zone and we start playing in it, not before more consolidation, and then upside sweep with today's US CPI numbers coming out and retail numbers. Quick sweeps to the upside. We see here on the hourly how quickly the hour ran up on this RSI. Note, let's do some measurements on the pump. So we ran up 2.5% here. Notice how notice how the RSI kind of pumped from the same region here. So on the 40 RSI we pumped, we had a quick spike up. Here we kind of pumped, we held the 40 again. So this quick spike up, let's just measure the impulses. This one had about a 3% or a 4% volume move. So this one was a little bit more extreme. Yet this pump actually on the RSI came to actually top it, or overcome this last price action peak. So 1 hour RSI divergence, if you wanted to mark it on the chart, it would be something like that. You see the price action, how the price action for this area is at 25,000, and then the RSI, when it reached the same point, it's only at 24,500. So $500 price action difference, and then we came in with some more volume. If you wanted to see this on like a higher time frame, it's nothing really signifying too much resistance on the higher time frames for that drop. But we do see on the 4 hour, right? On the 4 hour we hit 3 tops around the 60 RSI, and the 60 RSI is where we aim to take our shorts in the Cryptoverse DAO. If we look at the last times we hit double tops, you can see here on the RSI, boom, boom, we hit a double top here. We did have a nice drop here on the 4 hour. We tested the 4 hour, oversold here again, dropped again. Notice how when we came up this time, the RSI still on the 4 hour, the price action is below it, right? And we had a quick rapid drop straight to Wyckoff accumulation support area, and we took off. Like, this is purely accumulation right here. Wick up, wick back down to clear out all the liquidity, make everyone freak out. Pretty much just erase all stops and then come through with the move. And this is why this 4 hour is so important right now. Like, this 4 hour couldn't be more important in my opinion. And also the next 4 hour candle that comes in will be the daily close. So we'll take a look at the daily real quick, and let's see how the daily is shaping up. After this doji, notice how no candle bodies closed above the doji. During these 2 days, we did wick, right? We wicked above this area, and then the next day we wicked above both of those areas, the high from the last day. and then we continued the descent. If we're looking at just candle bodies, notice how much support is right here on the daily. If we just took off the lines, you could just see this is like a flat line top, and that's exactly where we're holding the supports from. And that's why we drew that. That's why this area is highlighted. You probably see it more definition on the 4-hour chart as we were looking at. But this is a big area because once we slip this line, if we slip this line, that puts 20,000, 22,000 on the table, probably halfway through this candle. Mitigation, we see a lot of wicks in this area. But for right now, can't take nothing away from the bulls. We have been monitoring the 60 RSI. When we're doing mainly some of our streams, it was in this area. Notice how we got this first tap to the 60 RSI. We had a quick fall. And then, price action actually did, try pushing above this final peak on the RSI. It was just capped by a doji. And then, RSI is now reset to the 50 on the daily. Does this, want to keep dropping? It can keep dropping. You can see in the past when it's been rejected. And for most of the bear market, it's been holding under the 50 RSI, right? So when we finally dropped below the 50 RSI, this was where our main resistance points were before we took another drop down. But if we look to see where, 69K came in, the high from the second run, right? The new all-time highs, it broke it twice in pretty much one cycle for me. If we look at this, we can see that, this was the bull market. We were playing above the 40, and then like here, above the 40. And now we're kind of reaching these tops, right? We're kind of into this area where we had our fake out zone. So when the bulls, when this initial bear trend ended and everyone starts getting bullish again, we came back, cleared these lows, and then we try to make that next push to, come take these highs. We fell again. We fell, harder. Now, that's not to say, the bulls can't have a run. This is why it's so important because we do see so much upside. There's no support really or resistance right here in this area. This is just a quick wick. If, the market makers do want to push this up to around 28K, they can very well do that. But, we know both sides of the story. And right now, it's just when we really zoom in on this price action, it's the 60 RSI. Bears are still holding it. Can the bears get it below 50? That's a big test. So let's walk it down now. Just go down the time frames, and then we'll give you our short-term outlook. So right now, we're hitting a major support level. These are the highs, or these are the wicks on the daily that's holding a support right now. The 4-hour did breach the 40 RSI, but you can notice that now from this price action on the RSI, we're making bullish divergences, right? Because this price action is still, these lows on the price action are still, I'm sorry. The lows on the RSI are getting lower, and the lows on the price action are getting higher. That's what the divergence is. Got a little tongue-tied, but we back. On the 3-hour, right, we can see why we have this like ascending trend line support, and this is, our main area that the bear or the bulls need to hold. Like if they don't hold here, then, this would be the last slip for me. Would be playing in, this range. Maybe go sideways a little bit more, test this, come down, test, retest as, support resistance, and then come down again. The bears are very quick in their moves as well. Like, for me, like the bears move quicker. So if we start to see some bullish supports, as we are seeing, like, even though I'm in this short, I'm looking to flip I'm looking to flip this if this turns around against me into a long, as we're going down, and we see like note here, even though it's small, you see how we came down this first 3 hour on the big drop, next 3 hours, just a small candle. And then now the price action is still below this drop, but on the RSI, it's a double bottom. The bears have almost no more strength in this 3 hour candle. Still 1 hour left in there, 12 minutes till the 4 hour close and the 2 hour close. So the 2 hour is still holding above the oversold area. You can see it's closer to the oversold than the 3 hour. If the bears want to do something, it has to be soon. If we start holding bullish divergences here, you see this low, these lows are getting, higher on the RSI. They're actually, getting lower. So if the bears can't come in with volume, that bullish divergence will take over. Boom, 1 hour looks even more solid, right? So the 1 hour has a very clear, double bottom right here. As 11 minutes in this close, we see that the price is getting lower, but the RSI can't break below. It still has time, 11 minutes left. All right, so the 45 minute, we see the first smack of, the 30 RSI. You can see how well it's been holding up recently. So this is something that could happen too, once we hit the RSI, we come back, and then look how the 40 starts holding until we have, even on a lower time frame, a 45-minute hold. This last hold that comes in, you could probably see a divergence if you wanted to, or like found a spot to enter this. You're entering it on support areas or the zone. Then you could have caught this and then, stop loss on entry or taking half your profits at the top. But notice how we got that test again of it, right? So we got this first test of it, and now we're testing a new support area. We hold it as support for a minute, but then we come back and retest the zone as resistance. Notice how the retest of the zone as resistance is also a retest of the 40 RSI, now acting as resistance. We've come down hard. 25 minutes left in this candle. So even though it's a new 4 hour candle, right? Some trippy shit. Even though it's a new 4 hour candle, this is still a solid 30-minute candle when the 4 hour close comes in. So we'll have, in that 15 minutes of candle, the new 15-minute candle will, decide a lot, or it'll show a lot on the 45-minute candle. And that's why there's so much volume on, these big hourly closes, because a lot of banks and institutions watch them as well. All right, so 30-minute. Notice how the 30-minute broke all the RSI divergences, right? So the price is now lower than all of these lows. And actually, when this price closed down here, right, when we broke down here, it was actually, the RSI actually represents that, right? So the RSI closed lower than this low, this low, this low, this low, this low, and so did the price action. And then just got rejected by the 40 again. I really think with, 4 hours left in this day, if the bulls don't hold in the next, hour, I'd say the next 2.5 hours. I'm not gonna put a time limit on it like that, because we can't really predict the markets, and it's like Asian session coming in. Lots of bullish support here from me. Notice how the bears, here on the 15-minute time frame, it came back up to the 50 RSI and got rejected. If we could get one more test of the 40 RSI, I might be willing to take a buy, because A buy at that point would mean we could put our stop loss, you know, depending on your leverage. If you wanted to make it a longer term play, you could do a stop loss of 120, like a percentage, right? Or, you know, you could do a higher leverage one, or it's all up to your risk, really. Hold on, I'm trying to get this right. So like a 1.5 risk. So if you put a 5 times leverage on this, you know, you're potentially able to lose, let's say 7.5%. And then, you know, if this does pop, because on the lower time frames, it is showing support to me. You know, on a 618 retracement, you could capture like a 3.45% move. So that's like about 3-to-1 RR. But I would definitely wait for the hourly close. But this wedge does look promising, right? Just because we've been, you know, just because we've been so bullish and there's so much support down here, and especially like on the higher time frames, there's looking to be bullish support. Like if we don't dump, then I would say stop loss above, or stop loss about 22951, and you could probably play along into this area, or at least, you know, halfway up the zone. Just because, you know, the hourly bullish divergence, I'm not going on like what I feel or, you know, emotions. It's just about what the chart's telling us. You know, every impulse, even though, well, short term we've been bullish. The last, I would say, month and a half we've been bullish. July 26th. And if we did want to catch a short, you know, I never catch shorts. If you are, you know, bearish, I never catch shorts from, you know, the support lines. If we would get a retest or a flip of, you know, this major trend line, then I would be able to look for my shorts with conviction. But with this thing, it's always, you know, it's better to wait for the reaction or the impulse. Wait for the impulse so you could, you know, play the reaction of it. You don't want to be shorting and then, you know, price just does a little retracement, comes back up here, take your stop loss out, because look how much larger your stop loss would have to be. So yeah, it's just not worth it to short when the when, you know, you've already missed the dump. Well, not even. I wouldn't say you missed the dump, but 4% moves down in the last, you know, in the last 2 days. So I mean, another thing I guess we should look at too is ETH. ETH has been actually leading the market, in my opinion. I want to get this top. Where's the top at? So for the longest time, you know, ETH is in like a parallel channel. Isn't even too much of a wedge to me. It's just, a very big channel that we have two deviations from. One being when we broke out to the downside here, and then one being when we came to the top and we triple top. The tops on ETH looks a lot cleaner just because there's more volume, but it's pretty much saying the same thing as Bitcoin, right? Just with bigger percentage moves, really. We hit 2K. 2K was a barrier. Notice how when we hit this 4-hour double top, we're not even talking about this area, right? We're not talking about this. We're talking about on this last leg up. And this is why it's so hard finding tops, right? Because even when you catch a nice top here on a higher time frame, and price is trying to push it down, there's wicks to the downside. So you're getting your downside pressure that's supposed to be coming in. It's just price doesn't have enough volume to break through it, right? So what happens is the RSI resets, and notice how here on the 4-hour, the 60 actually held as support. So that's what happens when you're in these intense bullish situations, right? But just notice how we hit that double top. First hour close came here, we dojied, we fell a little bit, we came down below oversold. Our next oversold pop that was supposed to, take us to the moon, we actually just ended up holding the resistance. This candle close didn't pass this wick, right? This wick from the doji, it didn't pass it. It's literally equal to it or a little bit lower. Even though we got one, some volume to pass it, take out all the stops, all the everything, cool. We had a drop come through, not before, another doji, more induced volume to take out anybody that caught this drop and didn't take profits, and then continue down. This wick came straight to claim the imbalance right here and continue down, Look at how ETH rallied all the way back up to its wicks and its candle closes and then came back down. If we extend this line too, probably delete these. Four-hour doji coming in on ETH. So when you see these, it could be a doji or it could be, like a hammer essentially, and we continue down, but we should have, some nice volatility. Remember, there's still 15 minutes left in this candle, so for this 15-minute candle to hold as a doji kind of means a lot. It means for, 15 minutes, neither the bears or the bulls could push the price anything. Take a look on Bitcoin. Take a quick look at this, but this is for another time. Whew. Crazy. Another leg. Didn't even look at it. Another leg. Crazy. The flippening. Talk about that tomorrow. So with this 45-minute candle, even if the price action pushes us down and gives us a better price to buy closer to this $23,000 support line, I'll still be looking for buys as long as this RSI cannot break the 30. I would love it to give us just another, maybe a little bit more, a leg down, let the 15 bounce off of it again, use something like one of these shoulders. That would be the most beautiful long. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to the Cryptoverse DAO technical analysis today. It's been your boy Simon Says, and winner, chicken dinner. Let's go get that chicken, my boys, and let's get that bread. Bullet. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to tap in and ring that bell notification for all updates. We're coming with that sauce.